Hey, I'm Arthur
Hi.
Spooner,
I'm Judah Booter.
Shooter Booter, and this is the Chickenfoot Podcast.
Sure
So,
is.
whoa, we just pulling in with 0 views already. All right.
Whoa, nice.
This is max viewage. We already hit our target goal.
Is that well, I mean, with a target like that,
yeah.
who needs planning?
Well, our target audience are people who are late. All right. Well, we got 1 view. All right. Well, welcome. And please like, follow, and subscribe.
Quick, follow us.
All right.
That reminds me, I gotta cut my hair. Well, we have a new
Buddha. Let's
we have a new segment that we like to call meme.
All right, meme. So I have a meme and I'm just gonna share it.
All right, let's see what it is.
All right. When you get home and you can finally be yourself.
What is that? Is that the tail? I thought it was
that's his tail. He's got little man boobs and everything.
Okay,
right.
what makes this work?
Yeah, that's a good question. What makes this work?
So the thing that struck me obviously is the naked cat, but when you get home and you can finally be yourself. So I guess this works mainly for us guys because I don't think many women, I don't know, but just want to hang out. I don't know. And a lot of guys don't, but I don't mind I kind of like hanging out, taking off my clothes, hanging out in my boxers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other funny thing is, it's shaved, right?
Yeah.
So it makes the head look big and it looks awkward, but it's sitting in a really uncat-like position. You know what I mean? Like if friends were to come over, you would sit in like a normal position. But if you're not, your legs over the side or something, you know what I mean?
All sprawled out.
Yeah, all sprawled out. So he's sitting in an uncat-like position, and he's got the look on it, like a cat, like I don't care look.
Yeah.
It's typical cat stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it because I was like, I don't know, this one has enough punch because yours was pretty good. Last week was really that one. I felt like had a good punchline. It was okay. It really like it was. This is my cousin. Screams cousin holler.
Yeah. Well, this is good too. All right. Well, so my turn next week. I got to come up with a good meme to start us off.
Well, so far it's 1 you.
And 1 you.
Okay. Oh, wait. So does that?
It's a joke off between Arthur Spooner and Judah Buddha. It's more of a meme off.
Okay, well, let me replay it again and edit it so it says meme. All right, we got it. All right. Well, so today what we're going to do is we're going to go over Steve Martin, some clips of his and break it down, why it's funny, what's funny about it, how's it work, all that kind of stuff. But when I asked you who you wanted to do, if I were to try to guess who you would pick first, Steve Martin wouldn't be the first guy you picked. Why did you pick Steve Martin first?
Well, Steve Martin to me has always been the classic stand-up that I have always been more, I've related to more in the sense he's more physical comedy, he's more silliness and storytelling and outside of the box thinking. So I'm not a clever joke writer. So when it comes to writing jokes, like I like the fact that he thinks outside the box, and it's not all these like turns of a phrases or
Well,
so
I shared with you that that video with it's an interview with Jerry Seinfeld and
yeah, well,
Steve
that was the
Martin,
other reason. Yeah.
and they had a reporter. I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but one of the things he says in there is that he's coming off the heels of the 70s, and culture was so polarizing then. Everything, politics, pop culture, even stand up was like it's very political and stuff. And so he felt like he was so silly and goofy that was like an untapped market at the time.
Yeah.
And that's really what helped him stand out, is that he was doing something nobody else was doing, and that he was just being silly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And well, also he said in that a lot of what I got out of that video was that like talking about, so whereas Seinfeld was talking about jokes and thinking about jokes and writing jokes, Steve Martin talked a little bit about that, but he talked a lot more about practicing them, and like this worked and this didn't work. A lot of like the practical aspect of comedy.
Well,
and
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, and that's what I resonate with more. Like it's like I don't know, like the wonky version of comedy is intimidating to me. I like it. I love it. I really admire it.
Yeah.
I guess I just resonate more. I guess I see myself being a little bit more like the Steve Martin rather than the Seinfeld.
I could see that with you being more physical, and he's more of a performer too, because he plays the banjo, he's singing, he's doing stuff. So I think in Seinfeld is just conceptual, he's going to stand in one spot, and he might have like some animated motions, but it's very limited in what he's doing, just to kind of highlight the conceptual idea, as opposed to Steve Martin is more physical, and then he'll throw out some one-liners that add to the physicality of what he's doing, So actually the first clip is the one that I suggested for you, and in it is some of that. So
okay, well, let's take a look.
All right,
let's go.
Hey, can we have some quiet out there in the theater, please? What's next, Scooter?
Oh, you'll love this, boss. Here he is, Steve Martin.
Steve, you really don't have to perform here,
Well, I figured since I was here, I may as well do some stuff,
Yeah, but you don't have to do this because we canceled the show.
Oh, well, maybe I could just, perform for the guys.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen, if you want him, you got him. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, I realize a lot of you folks are sitting out there saying to yourselves, sure, he's great, but can he make balloon animals?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, have you seen this before?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't like to repeat.
Come on. Well, please, do it. Come on, please.
I know what to do now. I don't like to repeat, and yet the audience is demanding that I do it.
Do it again, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a compromise. I'll make balloon animals, but I won't blow them up.
Oh, look, hey.
Giraffe. No, here we go.
Got a sense of humor.
See, I always fill up the balloons with words, and if they pop, they go, gosh darn it. It's not easy to get that air to curl up inside your lungs like that. And now, fun balloon animals. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at you go. Look at it.
Scooter, more balloons. Scooter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Eagle, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Blow up some more, just in case.
Yes, sir.
Oh, gosh darn it.
Oh, really?
Puppy dog.
Wow.
Oh, I love that one. That's so cute.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, hey, I'm complete. You know, folks, a lot of people come to me and they say, Steve, how can you afford all those balloons you use in your act? You must be rich or something. Well, actually, I get the balloons for free. I go down to the balloon ranch where the little baby balloons are grown, and I steal them from the nests. What I do is the adult balloons who guard them are very stupid, and it's easy to trick them. I go, hey, look at that inner tube over there, and they go, where, God? And I load up my pockets. You know, there's absolutely no danger to me because the adult balloons are very dumb, and they wouldn't.
Well, it is a different sort of an act.
Hey, I missed my big finish. I didn't even use a net.
You were terrific. You should make that into a feature film.
Can we get on with the auditions?
All right.
Yeah, so what I got out of that was just his sense of childlike silliness. But still, see, I think one of the biggest murderers of good comedy is insecurity. You know, like you know, this sort of like self-awareness that brings insecurity. He has all this silliness, but it's like a real confident childlike silliness, you know?
Yeah.
Where you never see him kind of like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's he's just doing it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that, I mean, obviously he's an adult and he's wearing a suit. You know, that was the other thing in the video. He said that back then, you know, in the 70s, all hippies and stuff, and that's how he used to dress. So he just said, you know, I'm going to start wearing a suit. So that became like an image. So he's wearing a suit and he's doing childlike things and being silly and stuff. And so like when he's like filling the balloons with words and then they pop, like, oh gosh darn it. You know what I mean? Like that line to emphasize the physicality of what he's doing. And then he's making it seem like he's just making a lot of noise, but he's not really making anything. You know what I mean? He's like, and he's like maybe do one or two twists, but he's not really, he's just making a lot of noise, moving things around.
Yeah. Okay, I've got I think this is the right clip I wanted to look at. This is clip 4. Let's take a look at this one.
Thank you very much. We're having some fun now, folks. You know, now I do a bit in my act where I make balloon animals, and it's really funny, and everybody laughs and everything. And I had a request to do it tonight, and then I was going to do it, but then I remembered I've done it on the show before, so I was a little confused. I hate to repeat material, yet, you know, I wanted to do the thing, so I've made a compromise. I'm going to make balloon animals, but I'm not going to blow them up. And I think this will be...
So that's the same one. That's the same one he did on.
You know, it's funny. Part of the Muppets one is they actually had a power outage earlier that day, and my mom years ago got me the complete DVD of the Muppet Show, and I watched the commentary on it. And well, I watched like because Jim Henson's son John Henson had like maybe like a 5 or 10 minute introduction commentary that he would do with some, and they would say they had a power outage earlier that day, so they weren't going to shoot, so most everyone went home, but then the power came back on and then they had some few people there, and he's like, oh, I'll just do it. So the people who were laughing, that's the puppeteers really laughing for him doing
Oh, that's
it.
interesting.
So he was just really doing his act, and that's why there's hardly anybody there. And they filmed it as if there was something going on, like a storm or something. And everybody left, and there was no audience there. So they just worked around the script around what was happening.
Well, if I have this clip right, I mean that's really interesting, and I think it goes to his ability to just think outside the box. Like I said before, I really like that about him. And this next one, if I have the clip right, is a joke. It's just an abnormal joke that he took a risk with, and it just goes with it. I love it. So we'll watch this one.
No, the real thing I wanted to do tonight, I have a great joke we can play on 100,000 people. Now here's how it works. Right now, watching television, there's about 20 million people. And out of those 20 million, about 1 million of them are flipping around, trying to figure out what to watch and see who's on Carson tonight, you know. So what we do is, every 10 seconds, 50,000 new people tune in. And they don't know what's happening, they just tuned in. So what we'll do is we'll wait 10 seconds, and I'll start being really weird. And telling jokes that have no punchlines, you know, and you just laugh like crazy, like they're the funniest jokes you've ever heard, you know. I mean, more, this guy is great, he's killing them. And the people coming in will think they're wrong. It's like, he must be good, I don't know. Must be the new humor or something. So we'll wait 10 seconds, we'll go into it, just about a standing ovation, that's all I'm looking for. We'll close with a big song, okay? We'll wait 10 seconds, I'll give you a cue like this, and we'll go into our funny comedy joke. Won't that be fun? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You're beautiful. Thank you. What a great crowd. Okay.
just that whole the whole idea that, you know, just doing something new, and the idea of manipulating TV viewers or what have you. And I think this is really early on in his career.
Yeah, well, you could tell his hair isn't 100% white yet. You know what I mean? Like, he must be
75.
Like, today, what? Now?
1975. It was 1975.
Yeah. And he started growing. He said, I think he said he started growing gray hair when he was in his 20s.
Oh wow!
So it was early on. Yeah, he was really good about just being silly and fun and lighthearted, and that's what I always kind of liked about him. Is it wasn't, and interestingly, and maybe this is part of the reason why he is this way. From what I understand, he's a very intelligent person, and he just likes to read a lot of philosophy. He reads a lot of philosophy and stuff. And I remember seeing when he received the Lifetime Achievement Award, and Martin Short is a long friend of his, and he was introducing it. He told this joke saying, he's like, well, some people already know Steve Martin loves philosophy, and many of you right now are wondering, why am I here?
That's good. Oh, all right. Well, what did you think of that one? Any thoughts on that, or do you want to go to the last clip?
Well, you know, it's interesting when he was doing the watch, he was looking at his watch. In my mind, I was thinking, I would turn to Johnny Carson and says, "You don't have anything better to do, do you?" Because it was like a long pause. You don't have anything better, because I could just a picture of Johnny Carson like we're wasting dead air. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have anything better to do, dude. Hey,
that like couple of seconds or however long it was, maybe a minute. What did he say? It was 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So those 10 seconds must have been like a really long 10 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
As he's thinking, oh gosh, what is this Brahms? This is terrible. What
when you and I were trying to do jokes, remember?
Yeah.
And the experience we had that commonality that we had was time seemed like forever. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't flowing, it seemed like forever. And then you start getting really self-conscious because you're like, you don't have no audience except for the other person, you know, and so you're not getting any feedback. So you're like,
right.
All right. So we'll go with the next clip.
So this is after he does that, he goes and he just goes and sits with Johnny Carson. And I thought it was really funny. Just kind of, you'll see.
I know what you're gonna say.
Right there.
Steve, how can you be so funny?
That's right.
Steve, I like this. I like to explain something. See, when I go out on stage, I feel funny. You know, my whole body feels funny. And
you have to get primed for it?
Yeah, I put a slice of bologna in each one of my shoes.
Go right.
Makes me feel funny.
Pickles work for me, but bologna is
Pickles,
ridiculous, yeah. How you been? You're writing shows now, aren't you?
I'm just kind of dabbling. I used to write comedy for television all the time, like Sonny and Cher and Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. A lot of cool things like that, but now I'm just... some friends of mine were producing the Dick Van Dyke special, and got involved with that, and that really turned out well. We have the script done, and it's really, in my opinion, exceptional.
You're not going to give up performing, are you?
Oh, no. This is strictly a little side thing I'm into, if you're into what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to be pompous or anything like that. I'm working on the John Denver special, writing and performing on that. Oh, you know, you're talking earlier about ways to avoid crime. Do you have to go to commercial? It's okay?
In a second or so, yeah.
You want
to do it now? Then can we follow up on this when we come back?
Sure. Hey, what the heck?
Hey. You got nothing planned, have you?
Yeah,
Sure. We're coming right back, and we'll find out what you're talking about.
Okay, great.
So we don't get to see what he was going to say, but you can see, like, in that clip, you can see his caricature, you know, caricature that is something about his normal face that inspires. It doesn't feel fake. You know, it's so fake. It doesn't feel, something about it. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's, it's, you could kind of tell the way he's saying things. He's kind of like, even though he's being humble, you know, kind of being modest, he's kind of still joking that he's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you can kind of still get the idea that he doesn't want to brag, but he's joking, like all this kind of stuff. I remember hearing a story from Sarah Silverman, and the first time she met him, she went to a dinner party and he was there. And she was saying, you know, it was one of those really highfalutin, all these really fancy people who were pretty much, you know, born into wealth and, you know, live a wealthy lifestyle. And she said something like, somebody had said, it's very bourgeois or something like that.
Bourgeoisie or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he's like, yeah, before, you know, I didn't even know what bourgeois is, but now I drive one every day. And she said that she died laughing and nobody else laughed, right? Because that's kind of like a blue collar joke, you know, and everybody else was just kind of like, oh, that's not funny.
Have you ever had the opportunity? So lately I've been finding myself in situations where I guess as I get older, where I don't really care if I bomb or not, you know, or if people like me or anything, you know, as I get older and I'm in situations where I'm just like, it's, you know, pass or fail. I don't, you know, and I find that those situations are the easiest to sort of just kind of try and, you know, just throw things out there. And what was it the other day? I was we told the story on here, right, about slipping on the banana?
Yeah.
Banana peel. Well, it was just like a bunch of people I barely knew, and I think it was like at a job party where I'm working from home, and so I didn't really know a lot of the people, and they were talking and they were like, oh yeah, about like and being embarrassed, and I was like, well, you never slipped on a banana peel. And everybody just looked at me like, who the heck is this? And what is he talking about? and normally I would have just frozen up and been like,
yeah.
But I was like, no, listen, let me tell you the story. When I was in college and I talked about, when me and you were coming out, it was me, you, and Josh or somebody, right?
We were all heading to the chapel.
Yeah.
Because it was chapel. And there's a banana peel. There's a banana peel on the ground. And you're like, whoa, there's a banana peel. Everyone look at me, slip on it. And you step on it and you fly, like your body was like parallel to the ground. And you're like, whoa, and you landed. And I laughed so hard because it was like exactly what you see in the cartoon. And I was like, what? It is slippery. Like, I didn't even think they're slippery.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, Daniel says hi.
Oh, hey, Daniel. Dan Heiniger, one of our faithful followers.
Yeah.
We also had a like from Jim Pickett, another one of our friends and faithful followers. Yeah.
Well, that reminds me, we need to get into the segment. Yo, funny guys.
Yo.
All right.
Man.
So you're talking about embarrassment. That reminded me of a story. Okay. And I'm not going to tell the person's name because I still haven't cleared it with them if I could tell it. Okay. But so I'll leave it anonymous. But this is a true story from a friend. So this friend was heading to like a prayer service, and some of my family, they're Catholic, right? And so there's some differences between Catholic and Protestant, and sometimes at like a prayer services, you know how like everybody was just totally quiet, and then somebody would just say something, you know what I mean? And so there'd be like long pauses, and then somebody would pray about something, and then long pauses, and then which side note reminds me of when we were at Life of the Vine and we were talking about things that brought you to Jesus, and then one of the congregants said Osama bin Laden. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
This person was like,
it was Maria Kirby. Yeah.
Oh man. Because sometimes they would say something to kind of to provoke thought or whatever. And so I guess she didn't hear that you're supposed to be calling out things that brought you closer to God, and she just yelled out Osama bin Laden. I almost died laughing. Anyways, so go back to my story. So, but you'll have these long, quiet pauses until somebody brings up something that they're concerned about and pray about. So he's heading to this prayer service. He's in college. He's racing. He's driving really fast. He gets pulled over. He gets a ticket. So he's already PO'd, right?
Yeah.
He comes in really late and he's already irritated, and he opens the door and like everybody sees him, and everyone's just sitting on the ground in a circle. So basically he creeps in, leans against the wall, and goes to slowly slide down, and his legs kind of slip and he falls and hits. And as soon as he hits, he farts like really loud. And then he's embarrassed and irritated, so he just gets up and leaves. So he tells the story of like, basically, it looks like he came in, sat down, farted, but just like farted in their prayer service. And he said that friends would, for years, people didn't know who he was. They just knew he was the guy who farted in the prayer service. And so one time he was going to visit a friend, and the friend was telling him that when he was going to pick this guy up, another person was like, is that the guy who farted in the prayer service? Years later, he was just known as the guy who farted in the prayer service. Oh man.
Have you ever had that happen to you though? Farted in a big group? That's happened to me.
I farted to where I thought I was going to be alone, and then somebody comes in, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. Actually, that one time we had to, we did it, and I did it, and then next thing I know,